To you live, straight to you live from CCL Studios. What you know?
Hello. Yeah, y'all straight.
We cool.
All good.
Yeah, all right. We already starting the pod, man. So, what's good, y'all?
What up?
What's up?
Come on now. This is Let's Dine No Swine. You already know the type of time we on. This is a podcast where we like to dine, but then we like to get into people's lives. So we got the editor, chief executive editor, Big
Yes,
U.
sir, Big U.
Then we got our special guest today, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Gene the music machine.
Yeah. Come on now.
How you doing, boss man?
I'm feeling good.
There you
I'm
go.
doing good.
There you go. I like that. So we starting this wherever you want to start, bro.
Wherever, man. We can flow like a river.
We be flowing, bro. Well, let the world know about you, bro. Where you want to start it from?
Life. Music, man. Like, just first off, I wouldn't be anything that I am if it weren't for God and, my parents paying attention to what God put in their hearts. Because, when you get older, I feel like it's easier to be like, no, I got here by myself. People didn't do this. No, nobody gave me nothing, whatever. It's like, no. Let's go way back to childhood.
Yeah.
When you weren't able to walk. Somebody else was feeding you, that kind of thing.
Come on now.
And so my parents, both, musicians, instrumentalists, born in the church kind of thing.
Okay, hold on. You're going too fast. All right, so we started our childhood.
Yeah.
Where you from?
I'm from Georgia.
Ooh.
Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia. Come on now. I need to learn how to sing like him, bro. Come on. That's something I've been wanting to pursue. Come on.
It's hot, but the music's hot there too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Georgia, born and raised.
Born and raised there. I mean, I moved here in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, so all my life, around big bands, marching bands, battle of the bands, HBCUs, historically black colleges, remember the movie Drumline?
Yes.
There's like boom, cat, boom, cat. That's the vibe, man.
Yeah.
People take music seriously.
Yes, sir.
Those bands, and you hear that stuff. It's like, even if you don't know what to do, like you were saying earlier, it's like, when something's off. But growing up in that environment, you're like, man, this is on. Everything is on.
It's on, yeah.
Like, your ear is trained because you got people around you that's just killing it all the time. All the time.
I like that.
So it's a blessing, and that kind of goes back to the whole like, oh yeah, I did it by myself. It's like, nah, you didn't. There's music everywhere. There's inspiration everywhere, and we all pick up on it, whether we are conscious of it or not. Really,
Especially young.
Yeah, man.
You pick up things easily. I mean, to pick up music though, it's another thing. I mean, if you're born and raised, you got another ear. You got another ear for it. You got a third ear for
That's true. It's a blessing.
Nice. So you from Georgia?
Yeah.
Pete parents. Get into your parents, bro.
Well,
because there was musicians. That's what you said.
Yeah. So my mom and me went to the same high school. That's so funny. The school that she graduated high school from, that's the same school I graduated high school from.
What's high school?
Windsor Forest High School.
Yeah.
She played flute, and I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, she played a bunch of instruments.
Right.
Like, she played flute, and in church she played organ and keys. And I remember in my grandma's house, they had an organ, so I feel like she played organ at home a lot, and then she brought it to the church.
Nice.
So I wouldn't laugh for that, but you can see the breadcrumb trails.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh man, this organ don't work anymore. And it's like, no, it did at one point in time. maybe 20 years ago, and it's like, dang, she learned how to play 20, 30 years ago, you know, that kind of stuff. It's like, oh wow. Like,
Is that that big oh no, that's a different what?
well, no, it's a big cabinet. It's not like one of those Hammond organs like that are gigantic with the giant Leslie speaker, but it's like one of the ones where the sound comes out of it right where you are. And it's got two bars, 2 rows of keys, and it's got the little tabs that you.
You got the
touch.
horns at the top.
No, it was a smaller one. Oh man, now that I think about it, I don't even think they have that organ at home anymore. So it's nice to be, you know, as life happens, to be a part of that stuff.
Yeah,
you know, to be a part of witnessing the breadcrumbs.
Yeah,
because it does a lot mentally, especially when, you know, if and when, you know, pride sets in, that kind of stuff, and you start feeling like, you know, this is all me and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, back up. Humble yourself, dog.
Yeah.
Because once you, I don't know, I guess I'm big on that, because now as I grow up older and you meet more people, and, you know, you really grow to appreciate where you came from, because that's the soil that helps you grow. So I don't know, that's where I am with that. It's just, all of it's a blessing, brother.
Come on now.
It's all a blessing.
Okay. And I'm gonna definitely get back to that, because I love how you said, like, first and foremost, like, bro, if it wasn't for the man upstairs, bro, I would not be here.
True.
But bro, I want people to know you, bro, because, like, look, everybody that doesn't know Gene, he is a member at CCF that plays pretty much all the instruments in the bag. He can play piano, he can play drums, he can do the bass. The boy played flute last week.
Oh yeah, I remember that, the performance. Yeah,
Come on, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, so I want people to really know, just know you, because when we come to church, and this is why, like, we want to do this podcast too, bro, because, like, there's so many gifted people in this congregation, and you never get to understand or hear their stories until you have time to sit down and talk with them. But then when church is over, people keep it pushing. They go to corral calling their name, bro. So, like, that's why we wanted to do this pod, so people can, you know, just really get a cool understanding of, like, just where you come from, and, bro, and, like, just your whole background, and, like what makes you, bro. So we appreciate all your time that you've been giving us today, but want to get back to the parents, bro.
Of course,
the parents.
Of course.
Mom and pops both play instruments. What type of instruments your pops play?
My dad, well, my dad's real humble, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like he did stuff. He let me know some stuff that he did when he was younger, but I feel like there's a lot of things that he did that he's fine with just not talking about, because he
sounds like he know how to play.
Yeah. Oh,
crazy.
My dad.
I'm just imagining it, bro. I already know.
My dad, I guess, just put it like this: like, I knew stuff was possible because of my dad. There are some things in life musically I literally never questioned, because I had the example.
Right, right.
He played in all keys.
Yeah.
You know, songs that he didn't know. Like today in service, like, I didn't know that song Pastor Phil was singing, and band didn't know it either. But I heard the key and I just started kind of flowing with it, and that's kind of how I was raised. Like, my dad did that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, he he just, nobody knows except for the person singing.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it goes, he'll listen. And then he'll figure out, you'll find out what the key
ear right
exactly.
There.
He'll like tune in, hear what Holy Spirit's saying regarding it, and then he just follows it.
Nice.
And, you know, so I had that example growing up, just like, don't freak out. Like, what did God place inside of you? He gave you an ear. Like, we all can hear that this person's singing the song. You hear the key that they're singing the song in. You hear the inflection. You hear how they're kind of pulling back in certain spots. It's like, all that stuff is like real time processing.
Yeah.
And I saw all the times, whereas other people, they'd be like, ugh. For me, it's like, my dad never freaked out.
Yeah.
Like, I never see him get, you know.
He never fold under pressure.
Nah. It's just like, I mean, it'd probably take a second.
Right.
And he played the organ, so he'd creep the volume up a little bit. But, you know, I just feel like with anything, music alone, it's like you have that example, that's what these kids need, because that's what I
Mm-hmm.
had. Not that I don't freak out or nothing like that. And,
Right.
you know, that's a whole nother thing. But but like realistically, when you have a good example,
Yeah.
some questions is already answered by the time you step up to the plate.
Yeah.
Knock that ball out the park.
Yeah,
That's
I
what it
like
was for me.
that. I like that. So growing up as an instrument kid, you didn't play any sports, or did you?
I did. I wasn't good at all of them. But I played soccer, you know, because I
Okay.
was fast. I didn't understand the sport rules,
Right,
but
yeah.
if I can get to the ball before you, that's
Yeah.
all that matters.
Yeah, come on now. Come on
And
now.
I played football a little bit. Same thing.
Nice.
I was not.
I couldn't imagine you playing football, but I ain't gonna lie to you.
I did wide receiver. A little
Okay,
bit.
yeah.
You know, that's kind of my thing. I just love to run. I ran cross country
Nice.
above everything.
Nice.
I just love running. Like I ran cross country for years, and like I almost won a race once. I came in like third place once.
Nice.
That's as close as I ever came to winning, and I was fine. I felt like I won.
Yeah.
You know? But it's just, you know, I had some friends that I was blessed enough, you know, to run into with high school. 'Cause,
Right.
you know, my first year of high school, I was in a band program the summer headed into my freshman year, and my parents kind of just caught wind of some of the demonic activity, I guess. Like, you know, it's always fights. It's always somebody's always getting shot. Kind of like it's Georgia, you know, like it's Georgia. I love Georgia, but it's a different vibe.
Right.
And you know, my parents, they had an ear to listen, to hear, and you know, I was upset because I went through a whole summer of learning to be in a marching band for a school, and then the first day of school, they're like, "You're not going to this school anymore. You're not going to this school." I went to the school my mom went to, and you know, Windsor Forest, it was like a completely different. It wasn't high step marching. Hey, it wasn't like the all right. It was like going left. And they were like 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And we had like chatelaines. They were like mimes. Like it was like a row of 30 of them, and they all had gloves on, and they had like the skirts, and they hold hands and do like a giant wave. It was kind of like a, you know, it was a chorus style, traditional style, like type school.
So the old high school you was going to, did, you know, straight stomp the yard of vibe?
We were in the paving, stumping our feet down in cement, like, you know, in the blazing heat, you know, just going through routines, and it's completely different. But I learned how to read music. I learned the basics of things that, not that I wouldn't have learned before, but you know, you get so caught up in like the show, you know, all that, ooh, gotta pump your chest, and then it's like, bro, your intonation is not good. It's like you skip all the basics because you're trying to look good. So it's a blessing that, you know, in a way, sometimes I wonder like, oh, how would it have been? But it's like, nah, I'm here where I am now, literally because of the life that I have, and the things that happen. It's like you can always go to what ifs, but the reality of it is like, you know, you have what you have, and God is still in control of everything. Man. So it's just like you look back and you're like, wow, that was His plan. And then you're like, you see everything that comes from it, and you're just like, hey, I got no complaints.
Right.
No complaints. Like,
no complaints growing up.
Yeah. It's like, you know, it's just, you know, of course, like, you know, I saw, you know, things could have been here or whatever. But, you know, for the most part, though, like, it was free game. You got inspiration everywhere.
Right.
And it's just like, I learned to just open my ears and my eyes and kind of look and listen beyond the surface level of stuff. And, of course, having the parents to help you. That's what it was, man. Just think big, look big, you know, hear, listen with your heart, listen with your spirit. That's like, that was it, man.
Yeah. Shout out Mama and Papa Gene.
Happy Father's Day.
Are they still down in Georgia too?
Yeah. My dad actually, he's a pastor now.
Ooh, okay. So you grew up PK, or before that it was just like you just grew up in the church type of thing?
I just grew up in the church.
Okay.
Like things, it's weird. It's like you grew up in the church. It's like you're just there. You don't know anything else. And then it's like, for me, it's like around high school, that's when my dad he did the church. He started pastoring, and then that's when God and everything started becoming a lot more real to me.
For you?
Because you're like, of course you're born in it, so you don't second guess certain things, and you know, it's a blessing to be able to see. You know, I grew up in. I didn't really have a lot of friends. You know, the age limit for the range of church was like kids to people who were on the way out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
tomorrow.
So it's I don't know.
Were they leaving you with wisdom?
Oh yeah. I
shoot.
mean it was always in passing. That's the good thing about, I guess, even though I didn't have a lot of people in my age, you always had somebody you're looking to for guidance,
right?
Or you're showing somebody else. So it's like, I'd rather be there than just to be around a bunch of people who know the same stuff as me. I want to learn.
Yeah,
and I want to help people too.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get back to that too, Gene, of you saying that like God became real to you in like high school. Cause bro, when I was in high school, bro, I used to think Christians was corny. People are just 1,000. Cause I've been growing up in the church too. I grew up in this church, bro. Yeah. Literally since I was like a baby, going to the classes back there. Now to be where I'm at today. I don't know if you knew that.
I knew that.
Yeah, bro. Like I've been coming here for a long time, and when I got to about like 8th grade to high school, I'm like, bro, y'all kind of corny around here. Like I used to think Christians was so corny because for me, I would see people come in here, you know, praise and worship, praise God, and then right when they leave the door in their car, like just go off, go crazy. And I was like, well, if this is what y'all are about, like, okay, like that's cool. I'm not on that right now. So I didn't really fully build my relationship with God and like really understand and like for it to click for me probably until before I got married. And that was like 4 years ago. So, so like when you were in high school, like what was that kind of like when everything kind of like clicked for you? Or what was that one moment where you're like, okay, no, this is different. Well, my walking relationship is different now.
Well, you know, with the whole band thing, because everything was kind of based around, honestly, my perception of things, you know, because I didn't really have a relationship with God like that.
Yeah.
You know, so stuff caught me off guard, man. Like starting school, my first day of school at a completely different school. Yeah. And then it's like, cool. It's like, it's like, yeah, it'd be great if, you know, you just go to the band director of the new school. I asked him, I was like, hey, like, I've seen your stuff. Like, I can learn it, like, very quickly. And he's like,
no. Yeah, I got a musical ear on me.
But he's like, you missed band camp, so you can't be in band at all this year. So I wasn't in band for a whole year. I was mad. I was mad. And I guess I did have cross country. But, you know, it's not having what I wanted, honestly. Just be real. I wanted to be
for that whole year.
I think I did a concert band, but like as far as like marching band, all that stuff, I spent a whole summer at the other school, learned all their stuff, just for the first day of school to go to a different school, and everything I learned, all of it's just out the window. That's not applicable.
That's Georgia time for you.
Georgia
music right there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So like I met, you know, I feel like a lot of my life, I want to say like I wasn't really social, but the truth of it is like, yeah, I kind of was. It's like I'm an extroverted introvert.
Right.
I don't know. Right. Introverted extrovert. I don't know. It's like I like my space, but like we could chop it up. Yes. And if the vibe is right, we could chop it up all day long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for real. Like
That's an introverted extrovert. You're an introvert to get that energy right, and then when you're around the right people, it's like, oh yeah, that's a good time.
Good way to put that. Yeah.
Nice.
You know, so like that first year for me, like I still needed that release musically,
right?
You know, and I met people, and we had this little group, Triple T and Lil G, Timar, Tyreek, and Trayshawn. Oh my goodness. And I was G. Yeah. I was G. So it's triple T and little G. And I remember my parents were like, don't bring anybody over. And then we would record. And one time, my mom came in. We recorded we were recording like an album.
Yeah. It is an album of the year too.
13, 14 years old. We recorded an album. And then my mom, recorded the whole thing. And then she comes in through the back door. Because that's the thing. I'm not even thinking. Like the garage door where we're in the garage. You got to go through her room. Or either you come from the outside, but you got to come from her room to get into the garage. So we're just right there. She opened up her room door and she's like, and then we're like, everybody takes off running, leaves me, leaves me, just
running out the door.
And then we took the album, we sold it to everybody, including the intro of her coming in yelling. That was the intro of the album.
The intro?
Yeah.
That's funny, bro. Triple T and G, man. Album of the year, man. That is hilarious, bro.
Sorry. Always found ways to keep pushing with music.
Yeah.
And I guess at the end of the day, with not having what I thought I wanted, then it's like, after a while, it's like, okay, well, I know what I want, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, because it's like, I guess, even if you're not completely 100% aligned with God, he still places stuff inside of you that helps you to understand and identify with where potentially you'll be in life. Like most people, before they're saved, they already have their gifts that they're,
he already puts the gifts in us, bro, when we come on the earth.
Yeah.
And he already knows the path we're going to go on.
Yeah.
He already read that John out.
And it's like, I feel like he purposely put his finger on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
That he knew that I wanted.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to get it, the only way that I was going to get it is by acknowledging him.
Right.
And that's kind of how it happened.
Right.
It's like time passed by and it's like, I'm like, okay, God. Like, this. And then it's like, I know what you want. I made you.
Come on now. He knows the desires of your heart, bro.
And it's like, he's like, it's not me that needs to change anything. It's like, you need to get in line yourself.
But God. Those butts start kicking in for real. Yeah. Yeah.
But God is good, man.
That's good.
That's what he does. He'll use your life and he knows where your focus and your attention is.
Come on now.
And he knows how to dry up a rivers.
Yes, bro.
You know how to dry up a river real quick. You want to go fishing. He's like,
go find some other place, bro. Either do that or just wait. Because it's not coming.
Yep, it's his timing.
That's facts.
God's timing. Yes.
Well, shoot. Well, is this we want to get into a little snack break.
Hey.
So, I got some snacks in here, bro. This is the section where we, break that bread. So, Gene, obviously the last time we talked, we were both into the little anime Japanese stage, bruh. So, I got a bag full of snacks, bro. And you can either, free ball it.
Those Choco Pies, is that H Mart?
Yeah, bro.
Bro.
I got a lot of snacks, y'all. I
seen those.
make sure I prepare for this time. So you can, if you want the Choco Pie, you can, or you can reach up in here, bro, and grab your little snack while we continue to break bread, bro.
And I gotta appreciate you.
Yeah.
I gotta bring some of these. I don't know what they're called, bro, but they're somewhat like this.
Oh, my fault.
They're a marshmallow cookie with covered in chocolate and then peanuts on top. That is like gas, dog.
Yeah.
I'm good with this
Good
right now.
stuff.
All
Always
right.
delivered there.
If anybody wants, we got the high chews plus fruit. I ain't seen these in the store. We got some Lay's. These are the 2-in-1s right here, bro. I don't even know what I'm telling you, bro. I went to the store. I couldn't even read what this is, but we got the 2-in-1s, man. The ghost pepper Lay's, man. Come on now. So next guest, don't worry, we're gonna be prepared for you guys.
Damn.
How you like them?
I'm making
that
a
boy
mess,
messy.
dog.
It's a little messy, but
I'm
it's
sitting here trying to.
it's alright. Might have to do one of the whole like.
There you go.
Eat the whole thing.
Give him a napkin too, bro.
Here you go, dog.
How you like them? They good?
Good. They fire.
These are Japanese
Moon pies. Yeah. Just made me think about that moon pies.
I said, bro. So, Gene, when you was in high school, man, what's your best high school lunch?
Oh my goodness.
I can tell you mine, but
Was
yours?
you running to the lunch line?
I tell you what, mine's, bro, that buffalo chicken sandwich. I'm darting to the lunch line. And the buffalo chicken tenders.
Oh yeah.
The tenders is something different.
Tenders,
but
bro.
I
That
never
pizza
ran
was
for that.
legendary though.
Hmm?
Pizza was legendary.
Mm-hmm. If they had the Domino's pizza, I
Yeah,
didn't like
yeah.
the scoop pizza.
They would do Domino's or either they would do like Papa John's sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Fire.
That pizza was different though. Like if
Yeah.
you go to Papa John's or Domino's right now, it would not.
It tasted exactly. Yes, I feel the same way. Things kind of changed a little bit.
Man. I feel like I'm gonna look like a clown after I eat this. Man. The moon pie pretty good.
Not bad at all.
Mm-mm. Mm. We over here taking the whole interim break. It's all good, man. It's part of the show right here, man. My fault, dog.
You good?
Grab the trash can real quick. Man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Ooh.
Some of these crumbs.
Yeah. Man. Sorry, y'all. We just we here trying some new food. This is part of the show right here. This is part I love. I love this show right here.
Bro, so when you were talking about being an introverted extrovert, like knowing that you wanted to play music, how would you find your group of people? And at this point, like,
It
how
was
do you
always
still
so
feel about it now?
frustrating. Like, I remember times where I was walking down the street because I got a big heart, man.
Yeah.
I was walking down the street once, walked in somebody's driveway because I heard a full band playing. I get up to the yard. Somebody comes out there like, "Get off my property!" I'm just like,
Wow.
like, I mean, like looking back, I get it now. You're on someone's property, but as a kid, it's just like I'm literally drawn to music. Like I'm in your yard because my ear brought me to your yard,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Right.
You know, so it's like the more you look and you know, my heart's naturally drawn to not just good music, but music in general.
Right.
It's like I
Yeah.
like to hear music. I love hearing how people think and like
Mhm.
it's like, dang, that came from your heart, bro. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know? But at the same time, it's like everybody has different character, everyone has a different heart. And so it's like you'll play with some very talented people, and it's like, why would you say that about my mom? you know, I don't know. It's just an example.
Yeah.
Example.
Who hurt you?
That never happened.
I was gonna say,
But-
Gene, who hurt you?
That never happened to me. But
I'll
it's
go
just
talk
like-
to him right now, bro. Quit playing with my guy.
It's just You know, not everybody that you can play with, you can vibe with.
Yeah.
And it's just so important.
I know
For
this
me-
is a big question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you, and this, there is no right or wrongs. Because for me, everyone's different in the Christian world right now. There's some Christian artists that wouldn't play with anybody that's in the secular world.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that?
That's tough for me too, because I was in a group before I moved here, the summer before I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the group was called M2J. And ironically, the name that it came from, it's 2 M's and a J. My name starts with a G, so that didn't come from me. It was Maurice and my cousin, actually.
Oh, word.
Jermaine.
Word.
We went by Maine, like main event. shout out to Jermaine.
Shout out Maine, man.
And then there is so Maurice, Jermaine, and there was another guy. They had the group going, and then there's just 3 of them. Something happened where they kind of took like a hiatus, and I was playing saxophone downtown. And it's funny, the reason we started playing together because they would show up at a certain time and start singing, and that would be when I was playing. So it became like a battle, like of who could play and sing louder. And after a while, it was just like, you want to just work together?
You want to join my band, brother?
And then so I started singing with them, and we did like Stevie Wonder stuff. We did just like Aretha Franklin, just like, you know, tunes. There was never any cursing and, you know, whatever, but it was always
just straight tunes with it.
Yeah. And then that whole summer we like hit it hard. Somebody found us. We like took a trip to Charlotte, North Carolina. They were
nice.
They're like, we want to like give you guys a record deal. We want to make you guys like the new Jodeci or whatever. And they're all like hyped about it. And in my mind, I'm like I love to sing, but it's like immediately it's just like I'm feeling this confliction in my heart, because it's like I'm not really trying to be out there like with my shirt off, like singing to people. I care less, you know?
Right.
And then so it was really kind of ended for that on the spot where it was just like,
for all y'all or just for you?
it was my decision. They would have went with it, but I pulled out because I didn't see God in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, after that, it's kind of just been like I will work with people for sure, but it's like a heart posture thing where it's like, if the content that you're making, if my heart's not in agreement with it, it probably not gonna last long, if at all.
Right.
Like, because it like, it's not just like blowback from the public kind of thing, but it's just spiritual blowback. Like, it'll make stuff and just feel gritty afterwards. It's like, this does not reflect God.
Yeah.
And it's like, as much as I have a relationship that I'm trying to continuously cultivate with God, it's like, I'm not perfect, but when something is like real off, it's so apparent.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I can't go down this road.
Right.
And I was in a band previously, and you know, kind of still working out some kinks or whatever. But
Kinks.
you know, as
Wrinkles.
far as like singing certain lyrics,
Right.
as soon as I even attempt something in my heart, just like this ain't it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's God, you know, because you know, so many amazing vocalists and musicians,
Right.
and they use their gift opposite of how they should be using it in certain arenas. They come with the spirit, a certain type of energy, and I guess I was grateful to kind of learn from other people's mistakes. And people tell me, like, I had a friend drummer I grew up. He was one of the most talented drummers I saw growing up, and he was like, "Yeah, I played for Lady Gaga. I played for like Adele, like all these people."
Yeah.
And he was telling me, he was like, a reason that he doesn't really do that stuff anymore is because of the attention that comes with it. You try to go back to your car and you got 3 women that's following you, you know, kind of stuff. And it's just like, you got to be prepared to understand when you go down certain roads, very rarely do you get out of it unscathed without, like, as Apostle Phil was saying a couple Sundays ago, like, Satan doesn't, like, the traps that you get in with him, like, it's not a fine cut. It's always jagged. And it's like, yeah, you'll get into it for a little bit and you back out, but it's like, ouch, ouch. And it's like, that cut deep. you know?
Yeah.
So just, yes, I try to be very careful because I just understand that it's not just a song. It's like, what's the agenda behind this whole thing? Like I hear what you're saying, but the whole production behind this video is saying something completely different.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of that.
Right,
My spirit
right.
is literally telling me
Yeah. It's the spider sense, huh?
godly sense.
Yeah.
yeah. For real, man. So yeah, it's, you know, certain things I'll definitely do and I'll help people with for sure.
Yeah.
But I just try to be very aware
Yeah.
of, and as much as I can, because I don't got the answers.
Yeah.
I gotta pray. I'm
Right.
gonna ask God what He thinks about the situation.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, if I feel like I'm not hearing something, I'm like, dang, that's the answer. Because He's like, I already told you who you are. You already know who you are.
Right.
So why do you want to deviate from that?
Right.
You know? Not that we can't ask Him questions, but it's like, sometimes when there's no answer, it's like, bro, you already know.
Nah, for real.
Don't do that.
For real.
That's not
Sheesh.
the artist we want to make music with.
Come on now. Okay. Well, that's a good perspective. Based off of the experience that you've had working with other people, I want to get to the cool stuff now. Like, where's the coolest place or the coolest experience musically that you've like been ever a part of, or just a couple of different things too?
Wow.
Want the people to know, because music could take you far. It can take you in some doors and spaces and places you've never been or seen before, good and bad.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I have had some wonderful opportunities, man. I have, you know, even just starting in high school, you know, my teacher saw something in me, and she'd be teaching tunes in class, and she would just ask me to come up. She'd be like, "You direct it."
Straight off in high school. Yeah, they already tell, bro. People can feel the energy. It's crazy how people can see that.
Mm-hmm.
You might not be able to. You just be trying to be an introvert
Yeah,
about it.
exactly.
I'm not talking in the mic. I'm tripping.
I tried so hard to be an introvert, and it's just like, as much as I want to stick to myself, it's like you don't really have a choice. Your heart is telling you, like, bro, you and this person need to work together.
Right.
It's like there's only so much. Even if I want to, it's just like, it's just God. You know, He does. It's all in His timing.
Right.
And it's either we got free will, either lean into it or you don't. And
Right.
I think with my life, I feel like I've had a lot of opportunities to either show me what God wants for me or to show me what He don't want
Right.
for me. And so I have had to grow to be very sensitive. Or I'm sensitive already. I'm so sensitive. He's used that sensitivity for his good. That's the thing. It's like He already places all these things in us.
Yeah.
And He just wants us to align ourselves with Him
Right.
in lieu of, you know, what He has for us.
Right. Are you sensitive? Sensitive? Where we all sensitive to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Sensitive in the spirit, sensitive emotionally, physically.
More spirit, but both for
Both.
sure. Both for sure.
Were you aware of like people's emotions? Could you really tell at the time? Could you
Well, for
just
me,
look at a certain person and be like, okay, y'all are going through this, and this?
I feel like for me, because I have found a liking to understanding like literally every single instrument. Like the only instruments I don't play is because I never had the chance.
What are
And
the
I
only
never had the
instruments?
chances because I didn't really like say, all right, no matter what, this is what I want to do. I'm going to save the money exactly for this. Like certain things I just never did that. I just waited for God. Like,
Right.
and then there's a certain point where it's like, okay, if you want this, now you have to work. So like I pick up a bunch of different instruments and hours, thousands of hours. Like Logic Pro, the software itself. I mean, I've spent thousands of hours, literally thousands of hours in that software.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, once you embody these instruments, I feel like for me, I don't know, certain instruments are like personalities. So when I played flute like last week, like I just got that flute like the Wednesday before.
Yeah.
I've been playing on a beater flute for a long time.
What's a beater flute? Like a beater, like a beat 'em up,
it
or like a?
no, it just costs $50. There's a Craigslist flute. like certain things I couldn't do because it's just old.
Oh, they're just
and
thrashed
I never,
out.
I never tried to play flute before that. And then with that, I learned how to, hear stuff and like really work my way up to where I am now with it.
Right.
But just instruments in general, it's like I've spent not that my opinion is the end all be all,
yeah.
but I've played so many instruments where it's just like you can tell when someone's not playing with their heart.
Right.
Like, not that my heart and your heart's the same or anything, but it's just like certain tendencies musically. Like I was saying with my dad, I grew up seeing like a clear-cut example of excellence.
Right.
And it's like excellence can look different. You can be a beast and never make any facial expressions.
Right.
And you can be full of energy and whatever.
Right.
But
what's good, Mike?
Hey.
You done?
Yeah, about y'all on the live podcast.
Come on now.
Was
No, you good, man. We go with the flow, man.
God is good. Hey, so just call me when you leave.
Okay.
I can set the alarm.
Okay.
But make absolutely sure the front door
Everything
is
locked out.
and closed.
I got you.
All right, what y'all talking about today? What y'all talking?
Talking about the music machine right here.
Oh man, yeah, man. Beautiful, man.
God's just doing his thing, right?
Come on now. We gonna get you in here soon.
Yeah, man. I've been waiting, man.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to get in here with you.
Yeah.
Man, this dude right here.
Man, come on, dog.
Man. Woo, you know what I call him, right?
Hey,
What?
Tell me your nickname.
man, come on. At that class, they was calling me the general, bro.
I was thinking, Mike.
You missed that class, though.
I know. I was working. It's good though.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good session, bro.
That was the
God's Posse.
God's Posse.
Yeah, bro.
What was they telling y'all yesterday?
Man, we was talking about anger and all of that. We was talking about how what was it? How I believe it was. I think it's Jim. I'm not sure, but his son got in an accident, and he was on a bike, and he had turned, and now he's been angry at like almost everybody on the road just because of how they're driving, and that kind of put a perspective in me. It's like, okay, I kind of drive dumb too. I need to slow it down on the gas, especially when people cut me off. I'm
The boy see red.
impatient,
Yeah.
and so it kind of helped me understand a lot more, and put a smile on my face when people start saying, "All right, the general." It's like, okay, come on now, y'all are overdoing it now. We were just talking about anger and all of this. Like, come on now.
Okay, that's good, bro. That's funny, man. I feel that. That is so
Did you have
funny.
something to teach in that one class? I heard they were saying you were holding some, like you wanted to teach something.
Me?
Yeah.
Maybe they're talking about my dad. They said Mike Jr. They said Mike Rutland.
He told me to invite you, so I was assuming it was you.
Me?
Yes, you.
The second?
You.
Who said that?
Jim. I believe that's his name.
Okay.
He's tall with glasses.
Jerry?
Jerry.
Okay.
That's him.
Yeah, I know, because I be working on Saturdays, so I won't be able to go sometimes. Let's teach something. I don't know. I don't got nothing to teach, man. I think I would
You
just...
got a whole lot of teeth, bro.
I don't know. I feel like I'm just trying to learn. I'm trying to learn from everybody around me. Come on now.
But
So we'll see. Next Saturday, we'll see. Gene teaching me a lot right now.
We gotta teach everybody something.
Right.
All of us, some of it's outward and apparent, and other stuff it's just like character. Like, you teach a lot by your character. Same thing
Yeah.
with my dad. It's like this is how I kind of see it. I've grown to see life because it's like parts of me wish, as everyone does, that certain aspects of the relationships would be, certain things would be more dialed in here in this area, or whatever, blah blah blah. But my father, he really kind of taught me indirectly or directly the importance of being in position, because like who you are is who you are. God made that. He gets the glory, period. And so it's not a matter of am I able to be this type of person or not? It's like, no. God created all of us. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
But my dad, because he'd already done the work. I didn't see him. I mean, he's always learning, but I didn't see him in his development process of, I can't do this yet or whatever. I just saw the example. And his character, it spoke volumes. Like when you just see somebody in the groove.
Yeah.
Like, not that they don't ever mess up or they're not, whatever, that kind of stuff. But like to just genuinely see people living authentically.
Yes.
The way that God designed them.
And not put on the mask.
Yeah, exactly. Just being your naked self.
Yeah.
That is one of the greatest teaching viewpoints in life.
Yeah.
Like your character, like your way you hug people, your smile, the way like how you're right there with people.
Right.
And it's like so many people, you look them in the eyes, and as soon as you look them in the eyes, they cut away.
They be ducked off, bro.
It's like they cut away immediately.
Yeah.
It's just nice. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
But it's nice to, in that variety of humanity, to bump into the things that you need, because I feel like that's just how God works. Like, everyone is designed differently, and you may not get everything that you need from that one person or thing, but you get what God had for you out of that situation.
Come on now. Yeah. No, I feel that, bro, because like having a good, being somebody that has good integrity, being an integrous person, and you going through challenges and trials and tribulations help you develop your character, and they help you just keep it 100,000% with somebody. Because, man, I can't just go in my life, because I told you, bro, like, I used to think people was corny, Christians was corny, and now I'm in a stage where it's like, bro, I'm so thankful for these Christian, not church folk, just Christian. Well, I'm thankful for everybody. But to know and see the difference between, now I understand why I didn't vibe with that type of person because they were church folk, or I didn't vibe with this type of person in school. Because, bro, like, every time I chop it up with you, you got something good to say right now. But then when I'm gone, like, you got something bad that you're talking about behind my back. And being emotionally intelligent, first and foremost with myself, because then that really helps me understand where somebody else is coming from, and being able to understand where they're at, I think is really helpful with me and my character, but also for you guys too. What's emotional intelligence? Like, how would you define that? And like, how have you worked on?
It's kind of the thing where it's like you judge righteously,
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say you don't judge, but it's like, no, yeah, you do.
We all have.
You gotta understand what you're going with. Like, it's like you say, you look at people, they stare off. It's like, okay, you kind of see their character off of that, but kind of being open to the fact of who they could be. I think understanding that there's a possibility of someone being a certain way, but at the same time having that courage to go ahead and introduce yourself adds a whole nother perspective to the game. It's like, okay, this is what I thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
You could still be this person, but keeping that open mind helps a lot more with that situation,
right?
Rather than just being closed off.
Yeah, because we all got bias. Pastor Phil talked about that super importantly. Is like me and Don, we've had a lot of conversations about bias, and like any one of us, if we don't take a shower for a week and then we just throw on the same clothes we had on today, everybody would look at us like, oh, this person homeless. But you could have a meal in the bank, but just based off how you looking at somebody and trying to judge them off their character, and they didn't even say a word to you. You just looking at them from where it's at. And I was talking to a homeowner yesterday about how her son is like an undetective, what is it? Detective undercover? Undercover detective. And he dresses like bummy so that nobody knows, like they just think he's a bum. But then when some smoke happens, like he's the first one on site. And it's just crazy how like no matter how people perceive us, because they're gonna perceive us the way they want to or not.
Right.
It's like, how are you holding yourself internally? I always tell my homeowners this too. Before we paint your house, we have to do a power wash on your home. And then after that, we have to do the prep for your house. After we prep your house, we paint over it. So you can't see the prep work. And that's the same with us too. It's like people don't see the prep or the internal work that we do for ourselves. They don't see all the cracks that we had internally, all the holes and the voids that we're taking out the bad voids and now filling that back in with the Spirit, back in with God. But it's easy for us to put on this shirt. It's easy for us to put on the outfit, put on the makeup and look good. It's easy for anybody to do that. But then when you look on the inside, there ain't no work that was done.
Exactly. That's another part of being emotionally intelligent, bro. You have to be self-aware.
Yeah.
That's important, to be honest with you. Like, you have to know yourself
Yes.
before anything.
Yes.
To know something is to know yourself first. You can't really give off advice, and I can't say I can't give off advice, but to know myself a certain way, I kind of reserve myself to what I know, because that's all I know.
Right.
And that's why I'm sitting here talking with you, specifically you guys, bro, because I can open up and find a new side of me and understand where I'm coming from, what exactly I'm talking about. That's why I invited you today, because I'm trying to figure myself out too.
Okay.
Like,
I'm trying to figure myself out too. I don't know if you figured it out yet.
you got the answer.
Always. Bro, I just play it like this. I play every instrument, bro.
Yeah.
And then I still be like, God, I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want?
Exactly.
Like, all of, you can have the world, and if you're not aligned with God, then
Say that.
it doesn't mean anything.
Big facts. That's big facts.
It's like, you can be equipped with everything, and then you go and build, and it's like God shows you His blueprint, and you show Him your blueprint, and it looks different, and then you're like, huh? And God's like, consult me next time. And then maybe your blueprint will look like
he shakes
mine.
up your foundation. What went wrong here?
Yeah,
Come on.
it's like you can be building forever. It's just like, was it building the house on sand versus building your house on solid ground and concrete? That's what it is.
Right.
You can be so equipped. And you
Right.
see all the most talented people just fall off because they did. When the flood came, it pushed them away.
Yeah, no foundation.
It's so important.
Nice.
It's so important. And I guess I feel like with myself, I've been in the water. I learned how to swim.
Yeah.
But you can swim all you want to. That current's strong enough, it'll still blow you away from where you were originally supposed to be. And that's that pride. You think you can swim. I'm like, yeah, I'll jump in the water and I'll just swim.
Yeah, I'm Michael Phelps with it.
Oh, goodness. That's way too much. This is all right. And now you're treading water, and because of the current, you're still being blown out to sea. And it's just that's being out of position of God. And it's just like, I've learned my lesson, man, because you can be at the front of the line, and then God does about face, and then now you're at the end of the line. The people who were at the end of the line are the first, and it's like that. It's part of what God's talking about. The first should be last should be first. It's like, don't be anxious. Whatever God has for you, it's like, stay in it, walk into it, walk in it in integrity in it. Because it's like, for me in my life, I'm thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, working on studio and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But in being in obedience to God and what He had for my future for me, not that I know everything, but I got pretty good. I'm close. He's telling me, you need to invest in these things. And then it's like, I don't have the money. It's like, you need to invest in these things.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, if He's telling me to do something, He must go and provide a way for me.
Yeah.
And then He is, and He does over and over and over again. And it goes back to me in my childhood. I went to school for business and stuff, and then certain things, they just didn't work out because I was doing what other people wanted me to do, not what He had for me in my heart. And it's like all those years that it seemingly I wasted, which it didn't, I learned. But realistically, in the areas that I wasn't focused on God in the midst of my learning, because he'll take any situation and use it for his good.
Right.
But if you don't jump on the train, it's not his fault. It's like he had the train for you. You know, you just weren't positioned, right to to jump on. But like I know this whole thing has been way less about me as I grow up more,
Right.
and more about what God wants. It all comes back to being Christ-centered. And growing up, I was just around it all the time. It's like you look and you see, you're like, oh yeah, everyone's a Christian because you're just raised in church. And then you start to see, why do these people treat these people differently? And then you start to see that, just because you go to church doesn't mean you're saved. Just because you're around church people all your life, that doesn't mean that you ever even seen anything remotely close to the way that an authentic walk with Jesus should actually look like. And for me, that was just like, I didn't understand that when I looked up and looked around, that I was seeing a bunch of people, including myself, just as a constant work in progress. And you think people are perfect, and it's like, nah, we all got our stuff.
I got that dirt still.
We all, whether it's healing, or just life stuff. Because you can do stuff and it be out of God's will, and it's not necessarily whatever. It's just you just weren't focused on what He wanted for you out of that situation.
Right.
But God's moving. He's always working, man.
He's gonna send you them tests for sure. That's how you know.
All the
man.
time.
Lately, I've been getting tested like crazy. I can't even lie to you. All these what Pastor Phil was talking, or Reverend Phil was talking about today. He's talking about how he's gonna test you. He's gonna dangle this right in front of you. He's gonna show you it's right here.
Yeah.
But you still can't get it. You gotta be ready for that moment when you get it.
Yeah.
But when it's ready, He's gonna give it to you, and with quickness too. And I'm in between in that moment where it's just like, all right, I understand not all, but I see these tests, and I still end up falling for a lot of them. Like last night, I didn't fall for one, but I was able to talk with my little sister about my current situation and just wanting to do something, just wanting to apologize. And it helped a lot more than just being to myself, because even then we were still able to talk and have conversations on everything, because she wanted to involve me in, not necessarily involve me, but she was going to go on a drive, and I felt like, okay, if something could happen on that drive, like I would rather sit here and talk to you about it and see if we could work things out, come to a certain agreement if it's really about something. But I just can't let you go. I can't let you go on that drive by yourself, because I know how that goes. I've been through multiple drives on my own, gone nowhere, other cities, and it just doesn't help listening to music as much as I wanted it to help, and I thought it did. I still came back home with the same feeling. Even at this moment, it's just like, man, I need to apologize, and I still need to apologize to so many people, including my family. It's just like, I'm sorry for not being myself. I wasn't able to produce my presence in your life because I thought mine was all mine. Like I thought that's all I lived in. So I would sit at home, play video games all night, and just think that that's what my life was, and I didn't really understand how much it really meant and how much it can really help within that person.
And what it still means
Exactly.
during this journey for you, bro.
Exactly. And I've been trying to involve God in a lot of these, in everything I do, even if it's not the first thing I go to, I still have that in the back of my head. It's like, okay, God can handle this. This is His job. I can't play His role. I can't sit here and be like, no, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and involve myself, but it's not the right time. There won't be a right time. You won't know the right time until it's God's time. But I was going somewhere. So we were able to talk about how the main idea was being unapologetically yourself. And that's a whole nother key to feeling at home, because that's a struggle that she was having and I was having. And she had asked me, well, how are you okay with these people, or people showing you a certain perspective of them, their real selves to you, and then still live in the same house. And it wasn't something I'm not gonna say I can't live with, but at the same time, to just apologize for what you have caused has helped a lot more than to not be okay with just living there.
Mm-hmm.
And within that, I was able to apologize to my mom, and I didn't think I was ever gonna feel like I had to apologize. But shoot, time was in the morning. I was making breakfast, and I'm like, you know what? That was my fault. A lot of this is my fault, so I need to stand up and take charge, take a hold of what I have right now. Because if I let it go again, it's just gonna be gone forever. And God has shown me how fast He can take things, bro. And I took that for granted, man. living in that is like all that anger and emotion, bro. It's beyond.
Right.
It's something you can't even handle, and then that'll overflow to relationships you have. Dog, it takes a hold of everything more than you can even understand. And even when you think you're good, you're not good. You still have things to learn, and that's just the path you chose to take. That's that was a little path, what do you call it?
Detour.
Yeah, exactly. Detour.
Yeah.
You chose to take. Maybe not what God wanted you to, but if you had to learn it because you're being hard-headed, then that's what you have to take.
Yeah.
But I'm so blessed to have that experience in my life, regardless of what I missed, because I know at this point the presence just helps a lot more. So I mean, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I was able to talk to Johnny about this stuff. He had called me the other night, and I'm not gonna put all his business out there, but when we were talking about middle school and everything, I feel like I have a separate, a different point of view, because I didn't really enjoy it. I can't say I didn't enjoy it because of other people as much as I wanted to think that. I just wasn't involved, and I didn't want to be open with myself. I wasn't aware of who I was specifically because of so many things. Like, just things I was told. I wasn't able to think for myself, and that I'm still learning to do that. Critical thinking is a skill that I need to learn and build on. But he was telling me how it went. He was asking me how it went for me, and I was being straight up. I told him I didn't really enjoy it, but at the same time, like, just be yourself, dude. If you worried about being popular or having friends, dude, just be yourself. You can't really expect or have an expectation on people, because you're just gonna end up like feeling
Setting
like
yourself down.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't help. So at the same time, enjoy the life you have. And he's becoming rapidly. I say he's becoming a man. Like, he's at the age he's at. I didn't even know bro was continuing on to middle school like that. I didn't know. He looks like he was in 7th, 8th grade, bro. I was assuming. I was like, nah, he's going into middle school. And so when he told me that, he was talking about making money for himself and all of this, and I just offered him. I was like, look, even before he had told me this, it was like, look, you have my number. If you need money, if you need food, just let me know. Just send me a text or something, because that's the presence that I'm working on. I want to be involved as much as I wasn't there. And as long as I wasn't there, that's for the time being I wasn't there for people. I need to make sure I'm being there, even if they don't want me to be there. And I can't, and I'm not saying to force myself to be there, but just offer a hand to whoever needs it.
That's good, bro.
And so that's another That was one big part that I want to work on, just being that big brother. And
Yeah.
Bro, we got similarities, man. Shoot. I used to ride my bike to different cities, bro.
Shoot, bro.
Like 8 o'clock, it's like, all right, I'm just gonna drive to that island or ride to that island. You know, like an hour, 30 minutes, just and it's like, what was it? Like Apostle Phil was saying a couple of Sundays. He was like, the self-affirmations, you're beautiful, you do it. And he was like, that doesn't work. Because it's like, you know, like this life, you know, it's community driven, you know, everything. I've, you know, certain things need, you know, like you were saying, like people tell you stuff like a lot of the reason I didn't play flute is people was like, oh, you play flute? That's gay.
Right.
Or you wear sandals?
Right,
that's
right.
gay.
Come on now.
Or you wear a shirt that's bigger than this normal? That's gay.
Right.
And it's like, and I got bullied a lot growing up,
Yeah,
man.
right.
Like a lot of school for me, like I checked out mentally. I was gone. Like I wasn't there. Like, and I bet people probably see me. They're like, "Oh wow, he's flourishing now." And it's like,
like, dog, come on, let me have my life, man.
it's like certain things happen, and I was just like, well, and this is, you know, because God's always been a part of my life. You know, I've always been there, but you know, you got to be honest about your relationship. You know, for me, it wasn't always there. But you know, like when things would happen, and it would just hit straight down to my core. It's like those comments, like, you know, people would just like pour into my spirit these like horrible things because that was their opinion. They were raised to think that men can't play certain instruments or tambourine. And, you know, and so I never did those things, you know.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm puncturing my heart essentially because I'm living this life
based off of what they think it
yeah,
is.
it's like a life of shame, essentially. Like you want to do things, you know, I always wanted to dance. I do choreography and I do choreography.
No,
man.
yeah, I
Like,
can tell.
I get down.
You got the boots to do it today too.
I did step teams and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, but you know, we go to a wedding and then like, it'd be like an instrumental song and people see people dance or whatever. And it's not like they were twerking and nothing like that, but you know, basic stuff. And you would see the judgment from other people, you know, and it was all the time. It was just like a two-step is going to send you to hell.
Pretty much.
And so, you know, for me, it's like I had those lies into my ear early on as a child. So there were certain things that I just didn't even do. Like in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, look, middle school is 3 years, 6th, 7th, and 8th. All right, now you're in high school. If you just make it to 12th grade, you will graduate, and then you can just leave. And you know, so for me, I checked out. Like mentally, I just wasn't there. Like, you know, I still worked on certain gifts and certain things like that. But on the other hand, it was like, I'll just pick up. I'll pick this up after I get away from, you know, all of this. And, you know, that's not really where God, you know, there's a consequence for everything. Whether it's your ignorance or it's your family's ignorance or the people around you, their ignorance, it's like everything, there's a consequence for everything. And, you know, I was angry a lot, you know, like I had 3 years where I made like 93 songs total. And I was just blazing through songs, just ripping them up. Like, you know, and after all of that, it's like, why am I not satisfied? Like, because it's like, yeah, I am playing what's on my heart essentially, but it's like, if it's not completely aligned with God, then it's like, that's just what's going to happen. And that's going back to the whole building, you're building in the wrong area. But, you know, like, as far as just, you know, that anger, man, and the whole, you want to get in the car and just drive and drive and drive. I had times where I had packed my car full of all my clothes and everything, and I was ready. I didn't know where I was going, but it was just like, I'm not going to be here. You know, like everything I own, just pack it in the car and just ready to go kind of thing.
Right.
Like, you know, and, you know, through all that, you know, God's just holding me so tight, man. And it's just like, at times it was like hard to hear his voice, and it's similar to, because I make backing tracks for like live bands and stuff. Similar to when you're making a track, you made the track, you're playing live, you're playing drums. Like this last show I played at Soil Dove, I made all the tracks. We were playing live, and amongst all the sound, it's like I can barely hear the track, but I hear the click. Like a clock to keep me on. And it's like, that's how God is. It's like there could be so much going on, but it's like just stay there for a second and just really, really listen, and you can hear that still voice. And that's how it was. Like, as much as I wanted to throw a tantrum for like a couple months ago, like a year ago, like somebody, what was it? They stole my wife's Cadillac converter out of her car. And I just wanted to get a hammer and smash everyone's window, because it's like, if no one's going to do anything to, you know, raise measures of security, or no one's going to like help her reverse her, then it's like, shoot, then everyone else is going to experience the pain. And then God's like, no, you're not going to do that.
And when I had the hammer, all right, I guess I can't go every time.
But I'm just being honest, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's like we feel anger and it's the emotions that everyone else feels.
Right.
You know, but God is always there to reel us back in if we allow him to. Because, you know, if I would have did that, it wasn't that he didn't want me to. I would have just been in my own free will, and there would have been a consequence to it too.
Right.
But, you know, sometimes it's like, it goes both ways. It's like, you don't want to disappoint God. You don't want to do the wrong thing, but also it's like, you don't want that consequence, because there will be something to happen. Like, and, you know, that's just that fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. It's been more and more, you know, it's like God makes these situations just so you can see how, not necessarily how it might go, but he'll give you a sliver sometimes. Like, you'll say something and you didn't really mean it, and you see how the person reacted, and then you're like, wait, no, I didn't mean that. And then you see them reel back into, you know, it's like, dude, I could have just bombed this opportunity, because, you know, and it's
right.
God allows you sometimes to trip up a little bit, just so he can straighten you back up, so you can get used to seeing how you were positioned when you started leaning. So, you know, once you lean, it's like, you already feel it. It's in your spirit. You've already seen it with your own eyes. You got the muscle memory down. It's like, cool, don't do it. And not only that, but teach someone else not to do it either.
Right.
But yeah, God is amazing. He really works in, on us, and through us. And he uses everything for his glory. We don't like to be honest about anger and honest about these kinds of things, but anger at its root is not a bad thing. You know, sometimes anger is there to help you to make the right decision. I'm so frustrated. I want the situation to change. Make a change. You know, now it's changed. You know, but God's good. I'm still learning that. I'll never stop learning. Like I said, I pushed flute off for my whole life.
Right.
And I just circled back around to it. You guys saw me play last week. I don't know if it sounded like I was a beginner or not.
Nah.
But like, I thought that I've cried so much thinking about the waste of time, and God's just like, you got no idea. You got no idea. Like, time is his. Like, in the whole first shall be last thing, it's like, all he's got to do is say about face, and you're in the back of the line. Everyone turns around, and now you're the head of the line. It's like, and he's like, yeah, like the snap of a finger. Like, it's that easy. Just be in alignment with him. And, you know, that's helped me so much with this journey. Is fluid and some seemingly rough, and it's been rough. As rough it has been in certain areas, you know, you allow God to get the glory out of it, and he'll bring you to your knees in a good way. With understanding just his sheer power and might, and how he's able to just, we think we know stuff.
Right.
Like, we think we have the answers.
Come on now.
And it's like, you think you may not, but then let you get into a situation where you just forget God's there, and then you do it yourself, and then God steps in and he shows you how things should be, or he shows you the right way, And for me, sometimes it was like, I wasn't even close.
Yeah.
I was not close at all.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, I was close to death in certain things.
Right.
Literally. And God's like, boop, 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 boop. And it's like, hey. And then because of those situations where you, in your heart, you're like, cool, I feel that this is right. And then you're wrong. And then God's like, you see that? That's what living in the flesh is. You may think you have it all, but you will always need me. You will always have to seek me for answers. And if you don't, consequences happen.
Right.
It's not, that's just the way that it works. Like,
Yeah.
He knows everything. So it's like, treat me like it.
Come on now. Yeah. That's a big thing. I like how you said that. And I like, because I know we getting close to that hour. Want y'all to get to that Father's Day.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
But before, because I like how you said that. It's like, my grandma said one time, she was like, honey, you think you know a lot till you go to a library and look at how little you know. All the books that are in there, all the people that's in there, all the knowledge that's in the library. And that's one library. You know how many libraries are in like a city in the world, right? And it's important to make sure that you dial in back with God and that you dial into the Creator, because He already made the path and paved the way for you. So, Gene, man, we appreciate your presence today. Gene, the
So
musical
much
machine.
appreciated, for real.
If you're gonna end out, if you want somebody to know about what is some advice you would give to somebody that's like in your position of maybe being an introvert or maybe being a musical enthusiast and is challenging and struggling with their relationship with God, or in middle school or high school going into those type of environments and they feel weird or they feel different? What would some words of advice be that you would have to give some of those people?
Well, my first thing is there is a season for everything, good or bad. Nothing lasts forever, period.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, for me, I just struggled with the idea of time, because like I grew up in a church where there's young people, then there's just real old people. So you're just like, I got all these hip hop driven ideas,
Right.
trap music with the drums, and
Yeah.
you do it, and then mothers in the church are like, 'cause they can't quite hang with it, kind of stuff. But it's just like, with the whole there being a season for everything, it's just like, take what you can get out of these situations, and don't look too deep into it. Like, sometimes a spade is a spade. If someone's treating you horribly every time they speak to you, it's like, yeah, pray about it, but they're showing you who they are. The situation is showing you what it is. And it's like, yeah, things can change, but it's like kind of, just in general with life, you have to build and develop a relationship with God, and He will point out to you your gifts. I mean, you will always still be able to learn new things. He'll show you stuff. It's like bass guitar. I wasn't playing bass like that like years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle here at the church is one of the first bass players that I've played with, like just actually paired and played with.
Yeah.
And I prayed for him. Like I always wanted to have a bass player to play with, and then he's coming out of nowhere. He found me on the internet because I put up a post like, hey, I'm looking for a band. But it's like, hey, let you know, I play every instrument. So if you don't practice, I'm not going to show up. Like, I'm not going to do this. Like, it wasn't a pride thing. It's just like, bro, we're adults. If you're not going to like work on your stuff, man. Like, I've been doing this since a kid. It's like, I don't, time.
Yeah.
But, Kyle and his spirit and, how he's been in my life as far as the bass here, all these different interactions and relationships I built with people, it's kind of shown me, certain times in life you won't get what you want, but what you want sometimes is not what you need. And that was my biggest thing. I've always been like in my flesh, in my emotions. Not that, what I do have as far as spirituality inside of me, God has placed something inside of me to be able to understand and recognize certain things. But also it's like, bro, you're just in your feelings, dog. That doesn't align with God. Like, and it's like, sucks to have to look in the mirror and hear that. But that's all of us sometimes in life. And, a lot of times,
Last night. Come on now.
A lot of times in life, it's like you think that like this hour is 2 hours, is 17 hours, and then after the time passed, not that the time didn't mean anything,
Right.
but you just see that God had something much different than your perception out
Right.
of the situation. And for me, in my whole life, it's like I do wish that there's certain things that I didn't do, honestly, as far as but I did learn lessons that came through them.
Right.
And on top of that, it's like, I wasn't ready for certain things as much as I felt like I
Yeah.
was inside. I wasn't ready for them. And then as I got older and then opportunities happened, I started to see that when they came, it was butter. Like it was butter. Like when Kyle's like, "Hey, I won't be able to make it there Wednesday." I'll listen to the songs because I'm already playing a different instrument or whatever, but I'm not freaking out thinking like, "Oh, can I do this?" It's like I've been practicing for years now, different instruments, and that's what God does. It's like He wants stuff now. We all want stuff right now, and I dealt with that. I was so angry as a kid. Like, you just want stuff now, and then God takes a sweet time with this, and He like softens our heart. Because that's another thing. Our hearts are hardened by our trials and all this stuff.
Right.
We're supposed to learn, but we also, and you step into hot lava. Yeah, you learn your lesson, but you don't got a foot no more. Now you're mad at everyone because you made the mistake. Now you got to walk the rest of your life on some crutches. It's like all these different things. It's like, certain things don't cut clean.
Yes.
And God has just taught me some tough teaching sometimes, and sometimes it's just like a teaching through someone else's mistake where you can see it and it's like, okay, cool. But sometimes you got to walk through it, and God is like, just destroy the idea of time. Just like stop. Like just stop thinking about time. Like He created us, which means He knows everything. He knows He's the Alpha and Omega. He knows the beginning and the end. So it's like, if you really and truly believe in God, understand that He is in control of everything. And it will help you to not be so much full of anxiety like I was. Just depressed because I'm like waiting for stuff to happen. And it's like, bro, it's like, God, you made me. You know I can do this stuff. And He's like, I know you can do it, but it's not time yet.
Right.
It's not time. And then it's just like, He's like, be patient. And then that's when the things come. It comes when your heart's aligned.
Yes.
And he'll come and he'll
Yes.
just kind of like sweep up all these areas in your life if you let Him.
Yes.
And you'll see the holes in this area comes together with something that has a point in this area. And you see that these things were always designed to be together. And you see all these things in your life, these areas that you've learned things from. You'll see, you may have learned this earlier in life and you feel like this had no purpose until 5 years passes by. And now you're able to pass it on to someone.
Come on now.
So for me, it's just, in a nutshell, it's just, don't give up on Him because He's not going to, it's so cliche, but don't give up on God because He's not going to give up on you. He knows way more than you could ever know. So, and it's just like, that was a big slap in my face for me. Not a slap, just more like a
gentle tap. Yeah.
But it rocks your spirit.
Yeah.
If you're, I don't know, it should. Hearing the truth should rock your spirit. It should like rock you all the way back into alignment with God.
Yes.
And that's how it was for me. Like, I've done so many things that I wish that I could have not done, but God has used them to teach me a lesson, and He has showed me how patient He is just in general. And He does this with everybody. It's like 7 billion humans on this planet. And He does it with everyone. But, we get into those places where we feel He's like He's abandoned us or He's forsaken us because of how we feel in our flesh. And so it's just understanding all those things. Like, I feel like all the weight of those situations in my life, when I remove myself out of them, then I'm like, God did what He had to do anyway. So it's just keeping that in mind. Trust God. Keep your head up. And trust that He's either showing you something or leading you into a situation where you can show someone else what He's showing you, or be led to show something, because everything's for His glory. It's just, don't forget about Him. We only get into these traps because we just think that our life has no purpose, or we just forget that, like, oh yeah, He made us. But it's like, dog, he made us. Like, dog, he literally like sat and looked at our lives from beginning to end. He meticulously calculated everything. And we just forget about that stuff and we roll into depression because we just don't focus on him. That's my story. I don't know. It's just, that's what I would want to say to people. Like, I'll be 32 in September.
Sheesh, well, you look good for a 32-year-old.
Hey, God's good. And I just, I feel like I wasted so much time, man.
Mm-hmm.
But God, it's like time is mine.
Mm-hmm.
Time is mine.
Mm-hmm.
And your perception, give your perception to me, and then I'm still working on it. But in the areas that I have done it so far in my life, He's proved me wrong. He proved Himself right.
Come on
So
now.
that's it for me, brother.
Sheesh.
Sorry to kind of go off on a rant. But
No, we needed that.
When it comes to this stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
The truth is just that, out of the things that I have done, He still showed up and He's taught me what He's needed to teach me.
Yeah.
So I got no choice but to let it flow out of me because I did learn a lesson. And if I could stop somebody from running down the road, like learn from my mistakes, bro. Please do, because I learn from other people's mistakes too.
Yeah.
People with all these baby mamas going crazy and stuff, all that kind of stuff. I saw early on. I'm like, I'm not doing that. But anyway.
It's that Georgia type of time, man.
I ain't lying. My granddaddy had 17 kids.
Boy, learn quick.
Right. Stop it.
Hey, man. Well, thank you for your time today, man. And it's not the last time we're going to chop it up.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Until next time, for sure.
Until next time. Thank y'all, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. And guess who made this outro music? You already know.
Come on now.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Hey, later.
Peace.